you nuts?
It's been suggested.
Come on, Caleb.
Lube or lewd?
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
I dislocated where my countdown intro was, so I used that old intro. But hey, regardless, we are live, and this is the 53rd edition of the Countdown of Top 10 series involving me, JPO, and a friend, as we count down some sort of top 10, usually involving the world of movies. And because we are at the halfway point on this channel soon, where we count down the top 10 worst movies of the year so far, best movies of the year so far. But I want to go even more into a niche, because our good friend John here runs a little channel called Why We Love Horror all the time. You can find me on from time to time as well. And I said, hey, let's get a little more bogged down. I want to know, because I have a way smaller list. I can only join you in the top 8. I want to know what your favorite horror films of the year so far are. I know he's seen a lot more than me, so I'm here to kind of be like a viewer today and kind of gasp in these titles. John, how are you?
I'm doing good. I have seen more than 8 horror films this year. I actually had a rough time whittling this thing down to 10 plus 5 honorable mentions. I could have gone up to probably 12, maybe higher. Who the hell knows? But for you out there, for everyone watching, I do have my personal top 10 plus 5 honorable mentions for you. So it's a good year so far.
No, it's good to know. And like I said, this is here for me to kind of learn as well. So let's not waste any time. John, let us know what was in your honorable mentions. What didn't quite make the top 10 so far?
All right. Well, the first honorable mention, it's actually a Tubi original movie, which is a weird thing to say. Tubi's actually been putting out some movies now, and some of them are high quality. A movie called Lowlifes came out earlier this year, and it's definitely worth watching. It's kind of like a little bit of a twist on your cannibal movies. We've been getting a lot of cannibal movies lately. We had Bones and All and a few other ones. This is an interesting twist on that. That's my first honorable mention. Secondly, I have another movie that is at a very limited release called New Life, starring I forget what her name is, Sasha something. She was on Lost, and a few recognizable faces in that movie, like Hector Elizondo's in that movie. It's kind of like another twist on like a person's on the run and someone's chasing them. But the twist in that movie, I won't spoil, but it actually is a very extremely good twist that you get probably a third of the way through the movie. My third honorable mention. Got a lot of buzz, really good ending, strong performance all the way through. Immaculate, Sydney Sweeney's Immaculate is another one of my honorable mentions. I think everybody should watch that movie, if not for the ending. My next to last honorable mention is that movie Infested, Vermines, the French movie about the spiders. Better than Sting, way better than Sting, but falling just outside of my top 10. And then sadly, my last honorable mention is a movie I liked a lot. I just happen to like 10 movies better than it. In a Violent Nature falls to my number 11 spot. Again, you should see it. These are all movies I think you should see. In a Violent Nature is, everybody says it turns the slasher genre on its head. It is very interesting. A lot of people have said it is boring. Those people obviously have ADHD. It's a fine movie. In a Violent Nature, check it out.
Oh, I'm muted. That's why I was ignored earlier. Sonya Wagner, by the way, I wanted to...
That's her name, yes. Sonya Wagner.
Well, that's your honorable mention, so I guess we know Sting won't be on your list. What's your number 10?
My number 10, just because I feel that the more I think about this movie, the more I realize that even though I like it about the same as In a Violent Nature, this movie is definitely more important than In a Violent Nature. I saw the TV Glow, James Schoenbrun's latest movie, the A24. I saw the TV Glow. I know if you ask my co-host, Aaron J., it's probably his favorite horror movie of the year just because of the thematic approach to it. But it's really a very deep existential movie. A lot of people who are, analyzing the movie will tell you it is a allegory for the transgender experience. All that is most likely in the high 90% is true. However, you can just watch it straight up as a nostalgia horror movie as well. So I enjoyed it on multiple levels. So I saw the TV Glow is definitely a good movie and an important movie to see this year.
I didn't even realize this fell under the horror banner. So
it definitely does.
Okay, good to know.
If you don't think Mr. Melancholy is a horrible creature, he definitely is.
What you got, number 9?
My number 9 movie I just saw last week. And I just did a Why We Love Horror special edition on it today. It is A Quiet Place Day 1 is my number 9 of the year so far. I think the character of Frodo the cat is a legendary horror icon now. Frodo the cat, ultimately, but also in that movie, Lupita Nyong'o just killing it. I won't spoil anything about the movie. She gives a fantastic performance, and for all the people that seen the trailers that think it's just like some kind of amped up action version of A Quiet Place, the way it was marketed was just weird. They just happened to show you all the action scenes. I promise you, the movie is everything you loved about the first two movies, just done in New York City. Just check it out.
Good to know. Good to know. Unfortunately, I had a doctor's appointment Tuesday. I was hoping it would line up perfectly where I could leave and go see this, but I had an hour and a half gap, so I ended up just going home. But hopefully by next week, I will have this checked off on my list as well. We'll still go back to you. Give me number 8.
Number 8, a movie that I thought more people saw it, but apparently it missed a lot of people's radar. It's Robert Morgan's full-length feature debut, Stop Motion, is my number 8. Stop motion is honestly, like, if you had asked me like in the first third of the year, it might have been like my number 1. But upon rewatching other movies and seeing more stuff, it's dropped down a little bit. But Stop Motion is a fantastic movie. If you like stop motion animation, you definitely should check it out because Robert Morgan's a genius. Phil Tippett level, maybe when all is said and done, he will be. But his work is great. He had a short in the was it the second ABCs of Death? In the second ABCs of Death, he had a short in there. He also did a lot of other horror shorts. Very talented animator, and this directorial debut is also really, really good. Aisling Franciosi's in it. She's also in Last Voyage of Demeter and The Nightingale. She's an up-and-coming horror actress. Check her out.
Fantastic. I like it. I can now chime in because I've seen 8 movies that are going to fall under the horror banner here. So, which means I don't recommend all of my list because my number 8 I do not recommend. Night Swim, good old Night Swim. You saw this one, right, John?
I've seen that. That's probably like, I don't even know where that would be. That would be like, I don't know if it's the worst movie I've seen this year, but it is at the very lower edge of good or upper edge of bad. It's right in there. But Wyatt Russell's pretty good in it, though.
I don't know. Even him, and I'm a big Wyatt Russell fan pretty early on, but even him, I just felt like, I don't know, there's not enough meat on the bone for his performance. Although, yeah, he is trying what he can here. But yeah, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. It never really scary, kind of boring. You've seen the tropes done so many times, so much better. So, like, yeah, I did not enjoy this. Although, weirdly, this was my favorite movie of the year for a while because it was the first 2024 movie I saw. What do you got at number 7?
My number 7 movie, I thought this was, there was a lot of debate which one of the 2 movies would be better. And I am telling you right now, from the source, The First Omen is greater than Immaculate. First Omen is my number 7 of the year so far. Arkasha Stevenson, I believe this is her directorial debut. And honestly, I think a lot of people say when they talk about The First Omen, it's like a prequel or an extension on the mythology we didn't ask for. But, and that might be true. I don't think anybody was clamoring for a new Omen movie, but they gave us one, and it's actually extremely good. A lot of people are kind of, I guess, a little miffed about it because it does play with the timeline a little bit. But if they're going to just give us like an Omen verse out of this, which is kind of what they're angling for, I feel, I'm absolutely here for it. The First Omen is really, really superior.
Very nice. Make sure I'm not frozen. There we are. For me, my number 7, some people think it's okay because some people gave it 3 stars. I got The Strangers Chapter 1 coming in my number 7 here. I did not like this movie here, and I thought people were being nitpicky because I'm like, hey, listen, give me a couple of okay, memorable scenes, a slasher, cool. That's all I need, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Unlike the first one here, you just have 2 cute people here going through the motions. There's not a single memorable scene in this entire thing. It's also boring. It's also just because you are bogged down with just having 2 people. It's just kind of repetitive. I didn't really find much redeeming about this. It's also a cop-out for the sequel that they're going to try to shove down our throats with the same people. So I didn't really find much to go for this. What do you got at number 6?
Number 6. Oh, you don't want to hear my thoughts on The Strangers Chapter 1?
Oh no, please give it to me. I want to know why you gave it.
I did give it 3 stars, but 3 stars just means it's okay. To me at least, it's like
No,
okay to
is
good.
2.5.
No, 2.5.
Good.
Because then I don't feel. I feel like if it's 2.5, like I'm not allowed to like it. I mean, like I like The Strangers Chapter 1. I think there's a lot of pearl clutching going on with The Strangers Chapter 1. Like people are like really fondly remembering Brian Bertino's The Strangers. Nobody liked that movie. They remember it. They remember it, but they're acting like Rennie Harlan's like shitting on it. You were never talking about the general you. We're never talking about The Strangers to begin with, so don't be offended that Rennie Harlan's trying to basically reboot the franchise. I think when all 3 movies come out, people are going to look more fondly on this than Bertino's original. But that's just me.
I don't know. I definitely will fight you on that. No, I think the first 2 have way more memorable scenes, better acting, and the second one just more memorable than this. Tell me a single scene that like you walked away from that like sticks in your mind. I don't know.
When he makes Steven Hitler out of the water bottle, come on, that's MacGyver shit. I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I'm not going to defend The Strangers Chapter 1 to the death. It's
fight.
Yeah.
Alan wants to see New Life.
Check it out. It's definitely good. So my number 6.
What you got?
Is that what I did? Yeah, my number 6. It was my number 5, but then I saw my number 5 very recently, so I bumped this down to number 6. Abigail is my number 6. Radio Silence. It's just a fun movie. I think a lot of people complain about this. Like all my movies, like there's like complaints about, like, oh, they gave away everything in the trailer. Yeah, they gave away the fact that the girl's a vampire in the trailer, but there's a ton of other stuff that happens in this movie that you don't know about from the trailer. And there's a lot of really funny moments, a lot of really funny performances. I think Dan Stevens, Catherine Newton, Melissa Barrera, and they all kill it in this movie. They're all extremely funny. Kevin Durant, all funny performances in this movie. So just go into Abigail and enjoy it for the horror comedy that it is. Stop being whiny bitches.
Yeah, quit being whiny bitches. That's what I want you to all take away from this episode.
Yeah, stop being whiny bitches. I hate it.
Shut up, Malcolm. You don't even like Independence Day. Anyhow, my number 6, we're going back to I believe it was on Shudder. Destroy All Neighbors with Jonah Ray from the ID10T podcast, and what's his face? Alex. What's his last name?
Alex Winter.
Yeah, of course, from Bill and Ted, who is completely unrecognizable, which is kind of the fun part as the crazy neighbor. Although I think he does pop up without the makeup at one point briefly.
He's the lawyer. He's the public defender that gets assigned to.
There you go. It's been so long. I know he finally does pop up where it's like, oh, there he is finally.
Yeah.
Although he's in the rest of the movie as the crazy neighbor here. It's just kind of a trippy punk rock. Now I am into the kind of, I do slightly recommend everything from now on. Trippy punk rock tale here, you know what I mean, of this, the ending is just them putting on this giant concert and monsters and death and I don't know. If you like this kind of stuff, I think there's an inherent charm about it. I can see this not being for everybody, but if it's up your alley, go for it. And it also helped that, like I said,
Randy Heller's in it. The mom from The Karate Kid, she's in it. She plays the landlady. Okay. She's great.
Right on. What you got at number 5?
Number 5, I just got home from. So it's a little bit past the halfway point of the year. But I did happen to get to see Maxine before we got to this, before we taped this. So Maxine is currently sitting at my number 5 for the year. I think that it is extremely good. It is, I think Ty West went and made 3 totally different movies in 3 totally different tones. And Maxine is kind of like a whodunit. There's like a splash of giallo in there. It's like it's not really a revenge flick, but it's definitely like a woman's empowerment horror movie type thing too. It's a lot of fun if you like the 80s. All the performances are great. Kevin Bacon, I'm not going to say he gives the performance of his career, but Kevin Bacon absolutely kills it in this movie. Giancarlo Esposito kills it in this movie. Also kills it in Abigail. Bobby Cannavale is in this movie. He's doing great. Michelle Monaghan. Everybody who you throw in the trailer kills it. With the exception of the people who were in it for like 2 seconds. But all the major parts are done very well.
Well, then I'm correcting the spelling.
MA 3 X's INA. There we go.
Yeah. That's why I want to make sure I give it the proper respect here. So I definitely will plan finishing this trilogy as well when it's more widely out. For my number 5 here, Diablo Cody is back with Lisa Frankenstein, and who knows, maybe just like Jennifer's Body, I'll like this movie more later on because I don't love it now. I do like the Sprouse twins have grown up and they're getting more adultery roles. And of course, our girl Catherine Noon, who's kind of like Giancarlo Esposito. Maybe I'll talk about her again here in a little bit here. Another Abigail alumni popping up again on this list here. So another one that I thought, again, has kind of an inherent charm to it as well. Has a couple of turns that I didn't totally like or thought made sense of the characters here. And again, it's not one that I think I'm going to go back to much, but good enough, one-time watch. I believe in the Peacock. What do you got at number 4?
Well, number 4 is a movie that I know a lot of people have not seen. It's kind of like a very, very indie horror comedy that just came out. I think it definitely didn't have any theater releases. You can find it on Amazon if you look for it. It's called A Most Atrocious Thing. It is, I think a lot of like indie horror movies, especially if they're trying to be funny, like it's all just inside jokes and like people like, mugging for the camera and thinking they're the greatest thing that ever happened to comedy. These guys, this crew of like, I guess this comedy troupe really cared and took their time and did an extremely great job with what is a slapstick comedy horror movie in the vein of like early Peter Jackson or early Sam Raimi. I put this movie at that level. If you could find a copy of A Most Atrocious Thing, I would definitely recommend you watch it. Oliphant and Christian, the two major directors who are credited.
A very recent watch for me here to just squeak into the list here is M. Night's Baby Girl for Watchers. Made my list here. It definitely has village-like vibes here, kind of what's going on, creatures in the woods. Just want to literally watch them every night. There's certain rules. How do you know these rules? Why are the rules? A lot of questions. For once you do get answers, which I do appreciate, whether you'll love the answers, that's debatable, but at least they give you answers. It's also a movie, too, that I think Jeremy John said it. He said, if you feel you saw the ending, you can walk away, because it does end a couple times. It's also one of those movies where it's like, no, we're still going. But no, like I said, I liked it enough. Again, we're not quite at the, now we're about to get into the very, very recommendation stages. These are ones that I thought were good, kind of first-time watches. What do you got at number 3?
My number 3 is another movie that it's kind of been out for a while, definitely on the festival circuit. It's kind of floated around. It got a limited release this year in the United States, so I'm going to count it as a 2024 release for me. This is the Spanish movie, The Coffee Table, by Calle Casas. You want to talk about it's such a dark comedy that you may not even laugh. That's how dark this movie is, but it has that whole really anxiety inducing feel, an Uncut Gems type feel to this movie. And when a movie can elicit that kind of response out of the viewers, it's very, very well done. This movie is extremely well acted and well directed. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. If you can get a copy of The Coffee Table, watch it. I promise you will either change as a human being or just really enjoy it. It might hollow out your soul. It's that good.
Nice. For my number 3 here, now we are definitely in the go out of your way to kind of see category here, and it might even be close to just my general top 10, 15 list here as well. I got Late Night with the Devil, our good boy David Dastmalchian as a host of this late night talk show that might be struggling here. They even kind of go, I think that it's really good storytelling too. I'm kind of going maybe just briefly, but enough into kind of his background, where this character is in his life here, and the different people in interviews here, skepticism guy, and then finally the one girl. And just thought build the pace up pretty nicely here. It just became a movie that I think definitely has you from beginning to end to a very large degree. What do you got at number 2 now? We're almost there.
Yeah, and I will speak very slowly because I know you're typing these titles in. Last weekend, myself and Abby and Aaron had the pleasure of a very small population. I got to screen Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person, which is Ariane Louise's directorial feature debut. I love movies like Let the Right One In and A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night and all these kind of trendy vampire movies. And this movie is a love letter to those movies. It very clearly borrows from those movies, but also tells its own story. If Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person comes to your town, don't even walk, don't run, teleport to the theater and see that fucking movie. Be one of the cool kids.
I want to be a cool kid. I gotta go see this movie. For my number 2, you actually mentioned it earlier here. This might be one of the top surprises of the year in general. I got The First Omen here, which recently dropped on Hulu. Yeah, this easily went from a movie that I wasn't that intrigued here. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was because I got kind of done over with The Nun and whatnot, and you also just had Immaculate. Even though I didn't see Immaculate, I was kind of like, oh, we got 2 of those movies here. We got another sequel, Exorcist. Reboot didn't work out very well. So yeah, I went from kind of being a movie I may not ever see to enough buzz of word and it being like, well, it's on Hulu, why not? And it does work here. You know what I mean? It just goes to show that you never really know what to praise or hate because, yeah, the Emoji movie didn't work out, but the Lego movie did. You know, right. Yeah, Battleship was trash, but the first Pirates of the Caribbean was awesome. Like, you just never know. The right people with the right hands can make a really good movie here. Like you said, it sets up what could be more. I don't know if we need more, but again, if it's as good as this, okay. So yeah, no, this worked out as well. Great leading performance. Good creepy world building and like the climax. You know, it all builds up well to it though. So yeah, so one of the biggest surprises of the year. Really good movie, First Omen. What's your number 1 movie of the year so far, John, that you think everyone needs to see?
You mentioned it already. I think, and I course corrected for the Earth. My number 1 of the year is Late Night with the Devil. There was a slew of people online who tried to tank this movie because there were like a few CGI images that were used in this movie. I'm going to just look those people right in their eyes. Fuck you, people. You're ridiculous that you would try to damage like an indie movie like this that is a diamond in the rough. David Dastmalchian gives a career-defining performance in this movie, and it's so well crafted. Aside from the 10 seconds that you find so objectable, but you'll go, blow Denis Villeneuve, who used AI all over Dune 2. So, eat it. Late Night with the Devil is my number 1.
I like that was only a rant on those people and not a single reason the movie's good. I love it.
I said David Dastmalchian gives a career-defining performance. A career-defining performance by David Dastmalchian.
But no, by the way, which I'll agree with you. I remember seeing the headline and then reading the article and going, is this really a thing? Is this really like any kind of whatever?
They were respected like movie reviewers, like encouraging their fans to boycott like an indie movie. Like that's like not in the spirit. If you like movies, why would you? Why would you? Like and then boycott the bigger movies that did. Boycott Dune 2 then. Put your money where your mouth is. Same shit happened in that movie.
No, that's a weird thing to get hung up on. It's barely even a story to me, let alone a reason to boycott a movie. Yeah. My number 1, I'm going to piggyback off you now. I had a lot of fun with it. You're number 6, my number 1. I got to go Abigail here. Yeah, you mentioned, the trailer gives away the vampire. Well, of course you're going to give that away. That kind of helps sell what kind of world you're going into. Other than that here, again, you got the radio silence, right?
Yep.
They just found a really good, fun cast here. I mean, Kevin Durant's really funny here. The one guy who we unfortunately lost, Melissa Marrera, Catherine Newton, everyone here. And Dan Stevens is always fantastic. I think Alan in the chat mentioned Dan Stevens before somebody did. So again, you just create a really fun cast here. Bodies fly, blood try to last. A little bit of Giancarlo Esposito doesn't hurt. The cameo at the end is fine. I just had a lot of fun with this here, man. I'm enjoying these filmmakers here.
And I'll shout out Alicia Weir as Abigail. Like, she's gonna be something.
Oh, yeah. Also, too, really. I was in about the adults, but the titular character, Abigail. Yeah, that performance is fantastic. I mean, you believe this little girl in all aspects too. Whether it's the beginning of the movie before she's a vampire and she's trying to sell herself just as a scared little girl, you believe her when she's this cocky, blood-filled vampire. You even believe her kind of in the more serious moments where, you find out kind of like at the end, the relationship between her and Barrera. So good stuff here. John, you want to go over that top 10 one more time?
Sure. My 10 was I Saw the TV Glow. Number 9, A Quiet Place, Day 1. Number 8, Stop Motion. 7 is The First Omen. 6 is Abigail. 5 is Maxine, which we just saw. 4, A Most Atrocious Thing. 3, The Coffee Table. 2, Humanist Vampire, Seeking Consent for the Silent Person. And number 1, Late Night with the Devil.
And all right, and I just want to do a type 8 today. That's never been done before. I think it was done before once when somebody had a guest on the show, and they're like, oops, I only thought 8. 8 numbers is Night Swim. 7, The Strangers Chapter 1. 6, Destroy All Neighbors. 5, Lisa Frankenstein. 4, Watchers. 3, Late Night with the Devil. 2, The First Omen. And number 1, Abigail. So then we got a few. We got Abigail, First Omen, Late Night with the Devil. We both agree. Definitely check those out. And of course, also Humanist Vampire, ... whatever he said. Coffee Table, definitely check those out. John, any plugs or parting words for you?
Well, you know where to find me, Why We Love Horror. You just type in Why We Love Horror on Facebook or Why We Love Horror here on YouTube. The shortcut's there at WWL Horror. That's YouTube and TikTok. And my letterbox is also down there, JW Bar. Check us out. We do such great things over there. We'd love to have you as a subscriber.
Absolutely. They do fun stuff. Absolutely big supporters here. So yeah, check out John over there. Check out us here, right here. And like, subscribe, tell a friend. If you didn't like it, tell an enemy. And yeah, keep seeing movies, keep seeing horror movies. We love you more than you'll ever know. Here's what I meant to play at the beginning of the show.